Hello, wonderful people. It's a very second edition of Einstein in the Flash. I am Blair, and this is Saint. Nah, I'm Caleb, and this is Omar. And yeah, we are talking about the concept of spectroscopy, but why?
So why spectroscopy? Thank you. Spectroscopy is a very interesting aspect and knowledge, which makes us to understand some behaviors of elements and minerals as well. Knowing their wavelength and frequencies, we could ascertain these properties and their component. So whether this method could be adopted by a process of accessing memories.
It already looks like a complicated process. Is there no way to access our memories?
Okay. Now, traditionally, when you are helped to jog your memories, as we said, something you know that you did, and when that happens, your brain guides you through the whole process. So maybe during childhood, you almost die out of food poisoning, maybe you don't know. So when you are served with porridge, being the exact food you were poisoned with, you might have a reminiscence in your head. Have I been given a porridge before, which like is something no. So with that, putting you in an uncomfortable position at that point in time, this seems to be like a reminiscence which we said it out. So with that, have you seen this book movie? It's a series which is trending. I don't know. If you haven't, I'll recommend it for you. It's a very good one, a television series. In one of the episodes, we see a boy and a father. The boy who killed his father when they were playing golf, and the funny thing was that the boy happened to have been triggered by the telephone ring, just a telephone ring. After investigation, it was understood that this boy attended some court where their father specifically made his student go through a process of repeatedly hearing some sounds and associated it with horrifying graphics. So this boy was triggered by his brain and automatically associated with its horrifying graphics, but his mind was turned off and he did the act. This has been showcased in a television show.
Okay. Let's get technical.
Okay. Technically, in basic anatomy, please I won't take you far. In basic anatomy, we learned that proteins have affinity to substrate depending on the Michaelis-Menten constant. So with that, this had to do with the concentration of the substrate. With this, we could identify that the neurons have an affinity. Some applies to the glial cells, specifically astrocytes. So with that, when the neurons are traversing the action potential, they emit waves, as we mentioned in the previous video. My friend here helped you through that. So manipulating these waves has to do with the focusing of externally produced waves to interfere with these waves carefully, so as not to affect the function of the hippocampus. That could be catastrophic. When we incident a low energy wave, we can change the phase of the waveforms to the brain, and in turn changing its frequency. Changing the frequency of these waves could create an unusual perturbation. Perturbation, in other words, potential. So that would resonate the glial cells within the hippocampus and then trigger dominant neurotransmitters.
Dominant neurotransmitter.
Sure, a dominant neurotransmitter. The neurotransmitters are stored in the axons. Axons, in such a way, the neurotransmitters are stored in the axons terminals, and so they could be retrieved when needed because they are there for a temporary reason. All they need is a little push. And as our great scientist Newton once said in the first law, he said the body will continue to be a stationary state until an external force is applied to it. Now, how do we pinpoint and accurate memories? We let the brain do its work. Now, memories are stored parasympathetically. That means that we store memories not by the will, but by our involuntary system of the brain, which we are not aware. The hippocampus and the hypothalamus in general are both parasympathetic and parasympathetic, and that is why the memory sometimes pop up. I'll not take you far. With that, I can state the fact here, like there is a certain worm, which when the head is cut, it regrows because it uses something called a binary fission. So after it grows back, it does not only have the brain of that cat head, but it remembers where and the specific position where it was going before the head was cut. That means the memories is like within the cells of the distance. So with that, We could only pinpoint these memories accurately when we allow the cerebrum, which is the part of the brain that controls our intelligence, a member of the sympathetic nervous system, to make this happen. This could be achieved through a process of electrical brain stimulation, but we could extensively explain it in our next video. All we need to know is that when a neural pathway is created between the cerebrum and the hippocampus. So,
This is mind blowing indeed. Wow. Thank
Sure.
you, Mr. Omar. Thank you so much, people out there who have patiently watched us till the very end. And on this note, we are going to say that
So, one fact thing about the brain is that our brain is the most complex object in the universe, and it only uses 20 watts of energy to operate, in which, when we take it specifically or physically, a 20-watt energy can light up 20 bulbs. So, with that, we can end here and say thank you very much.
thank you very much. I'm mind blown, bro.